Hey guys, it's Jay here with the blog. Back in August, we took a full advantage of the summer by doing the 30 by 30 challenge, which challenged each of us to get outside a minimum of 30 minutes a day for 30 days in a row. And we had over 170 people sign up for that online. We had a core group of about 25 to 30 people who participated in some events here in Cape Breton, but we got emails from folks in Fort McMurray and from Ontario and from New Brunswick and from Newfoundland. We had people doing the 30 by 30 challenge just about everywhere. So what I wanted to do this week was just kind of check in with you and see what you've been managed to keep from that. So what I did when we started the 30 by 30 was set the 30-minute goal to be outside. So I was still exercising, I was still doing machine work, and I was still using a treadmill at home, but I was committed to getting outside because I think what August taught me, and that I'm trying to take full advantage of now that we're in my absolute favorite season here on the island, which is fall, what I'm trying to take advantage of is everything else that comes with getting outside for those 30 minutes a day. It's not just the exercise that you're getting in. If August taught us anything, that whole challenge taught us what a mental impact just getting outside can have. The fresh air, the community connection of getting out and understanding exactly what is around you. There are streets in Glace Bay that I walked on during August that I hadn't been on in a decade or 15 years. And there are places on the island that I made a point of getting out to see that I never had seen in my life. And I'm sitting in one of them now. This is East Bay Hills. This has become one of my favorite places. In August, I fell in love with the Ballard Trail. I fell in absolute love with Coxseath Mountain and still try to do that weekly. And East Bay Hills, I get out here probably every second Saturday. And the neat thing is, for me right now, that where I'm at in kind of in my exercise plan, I'm just getting to the point where I'm running about 2.5K. And this being a 3K loop has been a great challenge because it's got the marking posts telling you how far you've gone. So I get all of the resources, I guess, that I'm used to having from the treadmill, but it lets me get outside and do it in just amazing scenery. Take a look at this place. Take a look where I'm sitting. This section here is called the Brook Trail, and it is a really short trail, about 1 kilometer into East Bay Hills, and there's a little wooden deck that goes down that trail there, and that connects you back out to the main one. When I make my way back out of here, I'll shoot some video on the way just so you can see it, but it literally just, if you're on Route 4, East Bay Church, there's a sign on the left right on the highway that says East Bay Hills Trail. You pull in, there's a parking lot, there's a guide sign, there's signposts, it's a well-groomed trail. But that's one of the things that I certainly got out of August and everything we've done since then, has been just how much of this infrastructure exists here in Cape Breton. And in the traveling that I've done since the summer, I find myself seeking this stuff out in other cities, whereas it used to be I'd want to hit up the malls, the museums, and stuff like that. I really do take time now, even going back to places that I used to live. I take the time now to find these little gems that I never ever looked for, 30 years here before I knew that this one even existed. So what I want to know this week is, whether you were in the 30 by 30 challenge or not, even those of you who are healthy, those who are exercising regularly, those who've already made that commitment, I want to hear some feedback about what you get out of doing it outside. Of exercising outside. I should have been really clear about that. I don't want to never mind. So during the 30 by 30 challenge, we talked about what it does for, your sense of community, just getting up and getting around. We talked about what it does for mental health. It just gives you time to think every day. I don't know about you, but when I'm on the treadmill or I'm at the gym, I always have my headphones on. I've negotiated a rule with myself at home because I'm an absolute movie addict, which was kind of a hobby that fell into place with my old lifestyle for sure. But I do really enjoy film, and I don't want to give that up completely. So, aside from the one that I watch on the weekend, I've kind of made a deal with myself that if I'm watching Netflix or iTunes or anything like that home through the week, I'm on the treadmill for at least an hour of it. That's kind of how I justify anything that I'm going to do through the week. So what have you done? All of that adds up, but it's very different than getting outside. So let me know what you've done. What is it outside that you enjoy? What are the places that you really enjoy? I obviously am being selfish to some degree. I want to know what they are so I can go check them out if I don't already know them. But at the same time, I just want to get you thinking as well about what are these things in your life, where are they, and why is it we don't take more time and make more of an effort to go seek them out and make them a part of our regular routine, just like this Saturday morning routine has kind of fallen into place for me since August. Now, one of the other things I want to talk about that's really shaped up for me since we did the 30 by 30 challenge is kind of the benefit of getting out. The Saturday morning one is really my time. I generally do this one alone. I usually I call it a Saturday doubleheader, an idea that I stole from Stephen Rolls over at moosebait.com. I try to do two of them back to back in some kind of different order. So this morning I did Coxeath Mountain, wrapped that up, and then just drove down the road to East Bay Hills. Sometimes they're just like this, where they're two actual trails. Sometimes it's, one has more of a purpose. So I'll do one for pure recreation, and the second one is, I'll walk to the drugstore if I have to get something. I just try to always double it up so that I'm doing two things on Saturday that are just for me. But what I've learned is, even in people that were already in my life, like I've made a lot of new friends, obviously, from the changes that I've made and from the hobbies and interests that I have now. But this lifestyle and getting out and doing these things has done a lot to support the relationships that I already had, and kind of starts to put into perspective just how I think that before it was completely possible for me to be a nice guy but a bad friend. I knew a lot of people, and I knew some people very well, but I wasn't a great friend to very many people. Part of my old lifestyle was being selfish in an incredible way, which was just you shut down. You would tire yourself out. You wouldn't take care of yourself enough to have the energy to invest in yourself, let alone anybody else. So it's been really neat for me to see that I've been able to, bring back old friendships that I haven't had in a while and connect with people in a way that I haven't in a while. And for even people that were always a big part of my life, it's been one more thing for us to enjoy doing together. And that's been really neat. I didn't anticipate that. If you look back at the early videos, which I've started doing in recent weeks since I've started writing the book about this whole thing, when you go back and you look at those early videos, I talk a lot about how I was switching into living a selfish life. And I think it's funny to go back and say that now, because I can't think of anything more selfish than the way I used to live. I wasn't investing in my future with anybody. I wasn't investing in friendships with anybody. I wasn't taking care of myself so that I would be here for the people that I love, including me. So, I think it's funny when you go back and you see me talk about making time for yourself and how that's a selfish thing and how that would be a struggle for me because that would be new. I kind of call bullshit on that now, because really, all you're really doing is changing where the selfishness is directed. It's a much more productive selfishness now. This time that I invest in me every day and every week is just as much an investment in the people in my life, the people that I love, as it is in me. Whereas before, that selfishness was all just directed at me. It was selfish ways of supporting the life I had built around me, or the lack of life that I had built around me. So this week, my question for all of you is, what are those things that you get out and do? I just want to hear about what you do outside. Who do you do it with? Who are these people that you're with? There's two women that I bump into a lot who are, they always walk down South Street in Glace Bay, and I meet them coming from Renwick Brook. And they're two cousins, and they've been like walking buddies forever, but, they stopped me to yell at me about something I said in a video a while back, which is that, you got to be careful, because having an exercise buddy or a walking buddy can be, an easy out for you. It can be a detriment. All I would ever really have to do is find someone lazier than me and hang my workouts on them. Every time they backed out, I wouldn't go. So to move away from that, I have never done that. I've never set up a schedule with somebody else. I've never relied on someone else for that motivation to actually get out in that moment and work out. Obviously, with all of you and how public we've done this, I've certainly relied on other people for motivation constantly, and you all are so generous with it that it's helped me get to where I am now. So, drop me an email or send me a comment this week through the Facebook page or the blog at eagle1035.com, and let me know, what is it that you do outside? Where do you go? Who do you go with? What do you get out of it? What's your routine? Do you do it yourself? Do you drag the kids along? Just let me know what you do and how you are taking advantage of all of this, which is this really, really unique beauty that we have here in Cape Breton in the fall. Hey, I told you that on the way out we'd stop and take a look at some of this stuff. I want to show you what they do along this trail. They mark some of the actual signs showing you what you're looking at. This is another side trail right before the Brook Trail where I shot the body of this video. But take a look at this. This is a massive birch. Now, I know nothing about trees. I know nothing about nature. I'm not that guy at all. Put me behind a computer. I'm at home. But try not to be amazed by this. And then if you just come right behind it, you take a few steps, and you're into this. I mean, it is incredible to think that all of this is, 15 minutes from where I work. That's not too shabby. Let me show you the actual trail itself. So, like I said, this is one of the side trails. The East Bay Hills is basically a loop. You walk about a half a kilometer up a stretch, and then you hit a loop, and there's a sign there that shows you. Now, in my opinion, if you're looking for a good climb, when you get to the loop and you have to pick left or right, take the left, and it's a steeper climb at the top of the loop. Take the right, it's a little more gradual. So when you get out here, I just want to give you a sense of what the trail looks like. It is like a real groomed trail. So they have these signs. They all show community sponsors as well who help. I've seen that's the Birches. DQ is on one down away. There's benches about every half kilometer or so. All right, guys. Well, that does it for the little tour of the trail I did. You have to get out here and check it out yourself. I'm going to run the last 1.5K out of here. See you again next Friday.